So this is the home screen, and I hope you can hear me okay over the fan of this thing. It's kind of noisy, not terrible, but anyways, MP stands for multi-process, so you can do MIG, inner shield or the flux cord stuff, and stick, and like a lift to start TIG, which I haven't even messed with. But we're just gonna play around with MIG, and you can see we're at 230 volts. It does have the other plug for regular 110, which I don't know why the hell you'd ever want to use that, because you really wouldn't be able to weld much. But so we're gonna, the little wheel here is what takes you through the menus. It's kind of slick. So we'll go to MIG steel C25, because that's the mix of gas that we have, and we'll push down on it, and then it kind of tells you what your setup is to confirm that, and we're going to do that. So again, we have the 75% argon mix. Press it. Currently I still have a 025 spool that came with it in here. I do have 030, I believe. Might be 035, I forget. I bought a couple of those. So we'll do that, and this will limit, depending on what wire you have and what amperage or what power you have plugged into it, whether it's 110 or the 220, it will limit the thickness of the material that you can weld. So we're gonna do, I mean, that stuff's like, that we're gonna play with, it's probably I'd say 12 gauge, right around there. And then when we pick that, we just push down on it again, and it's gonna give us kind of a default range of values. And so this is inches per minute of wire, and then this is arc volts. So you can play with this if you want more, if you want less. So we'll leave it on what they recommend, and then you could play with the wire speed too if you want. But this is nice because it kind of gives you a range to work with, but it also picks out what you know, what Lincoln thinks is going to work the best for you. So that's really nice, especially if you're a hobbyist or you're just getting started. A lot of times it can be daunting to figure out the settings of stuff. So so yeah, let's get cranking. I'm going to leave this camera plugged into here because I believe these numbers will change and stuff depending on how you're welding. So with this stuff, it seems to be a little bit on the cold side. So I'm going to go back, and we're going to call it 10 gauge, and that will change things a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. So not bad. This steel that we're welding onto is actually quite thick, and it's also kind of rusty. So I mean, our penetration and stuff might not be that good, but it's definitely on there. We'll do the back side. I mean, it's, you know, compared to inner shield, I mean, it does a real nice job, I think. I'm going to bring the camera over here so we can get kind of a close-up of the weld. It does really nice work. Sorry for shaky cam here. It's a very nice machine. I'm not used to stuff this nice. I had inner shield and I have a buzz box. My old man's got some other Lincoln products as well. I was looking at this one or the ESAB. Trying to think the name of it. Rebel, I believe, and that seemed to be pretty nice as well. Ultimately, I went with the Lincoln because it's been out for a while, and I feel like it's pretty well received for the most part, and it, you know, I've had Lincoln stuff before, and I've had really good luck with it, so I feel like this is a good product to stick with. Overall, I'm happy with the machine. I haven't had a lot of time on it. I might turn this thing off just because I think you'll be able to hear me better, and we'll go around and just talk about it a little bit. We can start with the back here. You'll see you have your connections for your gas and your power. I put a little mark here so that I know where up is, and then it turns in place. Your fans are back there. There is a little guide on the back here that kind of breaks down duty cycles and stuff like that. You know, you're not going to want to use this thing in a big time production environment, but it can run for a while, depending on what kind of gauge you're going to do. But you know, don't think that you're going to be welding 1/4 inch angle or something like that all day long with this thing, because you're probably going to trigger some kind of thermal limit. So I'll kind of start back here. The cord that they provide you with, I think, is horrible. Lincoln usually gives you good corded stuff. I feel like their ground cable and the welding cable and stuff like that, if you were to buy an AC/DC buzz box or something, that's good quality. A lot of times they don't provide you with a power cable, so I feel like they cheaped up with this one. It's just, I mean, when the weather gets cold, this is not going to flex at all. I just feel like it's junk. I think they could have spent a little bit more and provided you with a nicer rubber cord like this one that I made the extension plug with. That's another video. But the gas line is not bad. It's it's kind of this cheap plastic, but it's not terrible. The connectors are good and solid brass. They go on pretty nice. The gauge here, while it's not the best, it's not it's not terrible. I want to say this outfit Harris is owned by Lincoln now, and which is probably why they're sending along with it. I think the better gauges would be like a flow meter with a ball, but this is not bad. I mean, it's pretty easy to adjust and whatnot. So I don't know why it's not coming down here. Probably because I got to pull the trigger on it. But moving over on this side of the machine, you pull up on this little tab to bring the side of it open, and here you'll find the house. What's the matter? What's the matter? You have to go pee? You have to go pee again? You're like an old lady. You're like a little old lady. The side here, that's the little spool that they give you of the 025. I'm just using this to go through it basically, but it would be good wire for exhaust systems, thin gauge stuff. The demo that I welded over there probably would have benefited from some bigger wire, but it's not too bad. The feed mechanism is actually pretty robust and nice. These thumb wheels are easy to grab and take this piece off and feed the wire in. This wheel here you can apply tension to, so I like that. If you end up using the spool gun, you'd flip this switch here and you're good to go for that. There's some room to throw tools. I leave this adjustable wrench in here Don't really know why I left it in there, probably for taking something apart, but I just threw that in there. I have a tendency of also leaving a gauge finder in there and a pair of side cutters to cut things, but it's kind of nice that there's a little bit of room here. They also, speaking of room to put stuff, they give you room in the front of this to open up, and you can put some tips and stuff in here. So that's kind of nice. I like that for the front and the back. So that's kind of nice. Nice little spot to put stuff. The side here gives you instructions on what the buttons do, and it gives you a general guide to follow for metal thickness, which is nice too. The recommended settings and whatnot. Also the replacement parts. I know the ESAB, damn it, I forgot the name again. Not Ranger. I keep on wanting to say Ranger. Rebel. The Rebel has, which I thought was kind of neat, you menu through the system of the Rebel, and it has built-in instructions. So they basically added like a manual within the computer screen, which is kind of cool. So it eliminates the need for all this. But you know, this works just as well. It's not like you're going to misplace this sticker. It's stuck on the side of the damn thing. So, but this gives you a general metal thickness guide. Supposedly we can blast all the way up to 3/8 here. I have a feeling that might just be with stick, but you can do that if you want. Having said that, the stick, let me see, that's over. I'm trying not to trip. This is the lead they give you for stick welding. So pretty nice. I mean, this is nice cable. It's a good fat gauge, nice solid end. You know, this thing's this is gonna last a while. So this you'd plug in if you wanted to do stick welding. I see you under there. I see you. I see you. What are you doing? Where were we? So, okay, moving on to the front here. So you can see we got all your plugs and stuff here, and then polarity. You were to, if you were to do stick welding or whatever, you would swap these out. So you take out, this is the for the ground clamp, but you might have to switch this one to this side and this one over to here, depending on polarity changing if you're going to do stick. So then we got power switch, and then this is your wheel here to select stuff, which is nice. Fit and finish is good. It's, you know, kind of plasticky feeling, but not too cheap. I feel like we can go over here and look at my SP125, which this is an inner shield unit here. I mean, this is, you know, this thing is old. This is over 20 years old, and it's seen a fair bit of use. The plastic, I don't know what material this is. It might be PA6, but you know, relatively robust plastic. I feel like for a consumer-based welder, this was pretty beefy too. And again, this has nice switches and stuff like that. They use good cable for this as well. So I mean, I feel like Lincoln still makes a pretty good product, and which is one of the reasons why I ultimately went with Lincoln. So the gun, that the supply gun. What? You need to go pee-pee? Okay. Here, come here. You need to go outside? Go ahead, go pee. Just stay out of the water. Don't get your new outfit wet, man. Don't do it. Okay. What are some other negatives that I could think of? Really not too many. This is a pretty nice machine. The power cable I don't like. The lead for the ground is nice. I feel like it's not maybe as beefy as some of their stuff of yesteryear, but still nonetheless it's pretty nice. This Magnum gun that they give, this is, you know, obviously their brand. You can buy different ones and stuff. Real nice, has a good feel to it, and it seems to be pretty comfortable. I like how it's got this little hook here, so you could lay it down, which is kind of nice. Ultimately, nice machine, and I think that for the price, there was a local place in town that had a special. I want to say it was $12.99, and they gave you a bottle, like the whole bottle. Normally, if you have to swap these out or you have to purchase the bottle. I had old ones that I swapped out, and I was able to get this one for, I think, $60. You got to pay for filling it and then something else. I forget what the other one might be for the core to test yours. So they gave you the bottle, they gave you this, and that was like $1,300 or $1,250, somewhere around there. I think that's a fairly good deal for that. I got this one in Cleveland, so the company didn't have that kind of deal. I think I spent about the same money, but I just didn't get the bottle with it. So you'll have to keep that in mind. You're going to need a bottle. I think, just a simple review of this thing. It's a nice machine. It works very well. It's also nice, too, that it keeps your settings. I know that some machines might not do that. There's some Chinese machines out there. You turn the thing off, take a break or something, take a dump or whatever, and you come back and you flip the thing on and your settings are different. So that's kind of nice that it keeps your settings. So let me throw the gloves on. We'll finish up this one pass here. I mean, it really, this welder does a fantastic job, compared to something cheap, or if you were using stick, this thing really does some nice work. And this is on less than ideal conditions here with this rusty ass metal. I mean, that's pretty nice, especially compared to inner shield. But overall, I'd say this is a good welder if you're looking for something that's going to last a long time. If you're looking for something that's easy to use, pretty hard to beat. The tricky stuff is kind of taken care of as far as setting the things up. Back in the day, you kind of would have to use a chart, or a lot of times people would just guess. They're like, oh well, it's 1/4 inch plate, I'll just crank it up, for stick or something. But it's nice that this thing, you tell it what you want to do or what you want to work on, and it will change, to change stuff. So which is really nice. So apologize about that. The old lady was calling me there. Alright, so yeah, I mean, this machine too that I've noticed, so you can see that right now with the thickness, we can go as low as 24 and as high as 10, but nothing past 10. And that's primarily because of the wire that we have in there. If we had 030 or 35, we would probably be able to pick some thicker stuff. So let's see, if we were to go to 3.5, and we can go all the way to 5/16 with that type. 030, which is what I think, I could do 3/16, which is plenty. I mean, I haven't tried it out yet. One of these years I'll put that in and give it a test, but it's nice to know that if you go with 035, you can weld 5/16 plate with this thing. The duty cycle would probably be only 30% or so, but at least it can do it. Probably the same with stick. So you can see it wants you to flip. Does a little animation here. You can flip back and forth. Doesn't really matter. So 6011 or whatever. pick your rod diameters and big stuff. And then again 5/16 it looks like. I don't know if eighth will let us go to that. Oh, okay, eighth will let us go to 3/8, which is pretty beefy too. So yeah, nice machine, easy to use. These buttons, these controls, everything here, very high quality. Has a nice feel to them, and so this is settings and whatnot. You can play around with things here, which is nice. In case you have to call them, you know, if there's a problem, it tells you about some part numbers, basic stuff. We'll put this only English, Espanol, and Francais, so you can't put it on Ebonics or anything. But and then obviously English and metric. So yeah, nice machine. The screen is pretty cool. I definitely like that. You know, hopefully it won't die on me or anything. I don't see why it will, but very nice, easy to use. Takes all the guesswork out. I like it. I think that if you're in the market for a decent MIG welder, this is going to beat the cheaper models that you'll find in Home Depot and stuff like that. And the old adage always seems to hold true: you get what you pay for. So you might be able to get away with the Harbor Freight POS for a while, and honestly, it's going to probably come back to bite you in the ass. And then, you know, you spend a couple $100 on that, spend a couple $100 here and there to fix it or whatever. You buy a Chinese one, and then you have issues with it where you could just save a little bit or decide to pick up something like this, and it's probably going to be good forever. I mean, that SP over there on top of the Welding Power, I had that thing in high school, so that was back in like the early 90s, and it's still fine. It works great. So Lincoln makes a good product. They've been in the welding business a long time. So I hope this review has been kind of helpful. Probably a little long and drawn out. Apologize for that, and apologize for the shaky cam. But if you have any questions or comments or want to see something else in action, let me know, and I can try to get a video together. But yeah, so thanks for watching.